Good evening, my YouTube viewers. It's Palestine here. Welcome to my channel. I don't know if you watched my video this morning. It was about a 50-minute video, 50-minute video, where I poured my heart out about my experience of mental health workers. I don't know if you watched it, but after I made that video, I went and spent the whole day with my boyfriend running errands. And so basically, I decided that I wanted to make a video and I wanted to talk about my day. After I made the video, we had breakfast, and then we had to brush our teeth and put our clothes on, and then we went to a Bible study at the church that I go to. And basically what we're doing is we're going over each sentence of the Lord's Prayer, but we didn't really talk about what we were supposed to talk about, because I was talking about my mother, because if you've watched my previous videos, you know that my mother had a bleed on the brain, which caused her to fall, which caused her to break her neck, end up in ER, and then ICU. She had to have an operation, and then the insurance wouldn't pay for the ICU anymore, so she was just in a regular hospital room, not ICU, because insurance wouldn't pay for ICU anymore. And then now she's in rehab, and she wants to leave the rehab, but I think that, my brother, and her friend want her to stay in rehab as long as possible, and I think she should stay in rehab as long as possible. And basically, I spoke to my sister about it this afternoon, and my sister said that when her husband had an operation on his back, when he went to rehab, they were telling him how to shower and take baths and do his ablutions and clean himself, but they don't seem to be doing that with my mother. It seems like the only thing they want to do with my mother is to have like maybe physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy. And I don't know, nobody's ever said anything about how she's able to clean herself. So I don't know what they're going to do about that. And I was speaking to my sister just says, well, they're not teaching her how to clean herself. So I don't know what she plans to do in that regard. I don't know if she's going to hire a nurse to help her. And as I've said in previous videos, my mother doesn't have a lot of money, but she has a lot of things. And so what she had done when she was younger, she cashed in her pension and spent it because she thought she wasn't going to get old. And then but fortunately for her, she's married to my stepdad. My stepdad has put her on his banking, so she's allowed to take money from his banking account if she needs it. But I don't know what's going to happen with all these medical bills. I don't know how she's going to pay for her care. I don't know if insurance pays for her care. Nobody's discussed any of this with me. But I do know that my mother owns at least 5 pieces of property that I know of. And if she's in a bind, she can start selling some of her property and live off of the proceeds of that property to pay for her care. But obviously, nobody's discussed this with me, so I don't know what's going to happen with that regard. So the people at the Bible study think I should forgive my mother. And I said, well, I can forgive her, but I'll never forget what she did. And then they didn't like it that I said that I forced myself to tell her I loved her, but really I didn't mean it. And they thought that was just awful. They think that I should love my mother, even though all the things she's done to me, even though I'm sitting here in the UK living in squalor while she's living in the laps of luxury. But I'm supposed to love her anyway. I'm supposed to forgive her and all the things she's done and love her, you know. But I'm not going to do that. And I told my boyfriend what they can do, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not ready for that. And I thought I was doing good to tell her I loved her, even though I didn't mean it. So, I'm not going to forgive and forget. I'm not going to forget about all the things that she's done. And they said, oh, it'll be good for you. It'll be good for you to do that. I don't care. I don't care. And those people that think I should just forgive and forget, I'm going to tell you what. This is what I told my boyfriend. They can just kiss my ass because I'm not going to do it. And then, so after we had the Bible study, we had to walk to Argos. So Argos is like a catalog shop, but Argos doesn't really have catalogs anymore. You have to do everything over the internet. So if you want to know if Argos has something, then Argos has a website, and you can look on the Argos website and look for what it is that you want. Well, my chair is at least 11 or 12 years old, maybe older, and it's my computer chair, and it's broken. It keeps going down. And I said, okay, well, I have to buy another chair. And my friend, my Sikh friend, was saying, oh, you can go across the town to Home Bargains or B&M and get one there. Well, I don't want to. And I said, I don't want to. I want to go to Argos, because that's where I go get my things, is Argos. So Argos is formerly a catalog shop, but now what they do is they have a website. If you want to know if they have something, then you can look on their website and see if they have it. And if you want to, you can order it from the website, but I didn't do that. I walked into Argos, and now they don't even have catalogs anymore. Now they have like a computer station or a station. And so it's like a tablet, and then you type in what it is you're looking for, and then they will give you a printout or on the screen of what it is you're looking for. And so I wanted a computer chair, and then what you have to do is you have to click on to relevance. No, click on to price. I clicked on to the lowest price to the highest price. And so I found a computer chair for £30. And so I thought, okay, well, I'll get that. That's what I want. I'll get that. You know, and my Sikh friend wants me to do things like compare prices and shop around and travel to the other end of the town. And I'm just not going to do that. I just want to get a computer chair. I don't have time to compare prices and shop around and travel to the other side of town to get a computer chair when Argos is a 10, 15 minute, 20-minute walk from where I live. So I went to Argos, and so I had to buy the chair over the internet, because now it's all computerized. And so I typed in that I wanted this chair, and it said you can collect it now. You can collect it right away. That means they had it in stock. So I had to pay for it on my debit card, and they printed out a receipt that I had paid for it on my debit card. And then I went to the counter, and then I had to wait in the queue to get my computer chair. Well, while all this was going on, there's this guy that we know from the Depression Expression website that was wanting to talk to my boyfriend, and I wasn't very happy about that, because I just wanted to get my computer chair and leave. I didn't want to stay and chit-chat. And, but anyway, so he stayed in chit-chats, because he's a lot more sociable than I am. And then, so then we went to McDonald's, because McDonald's is in the Forbury Business Park. And so my boyfriend had a wrap of the day meal, and I had a small cheeseburger meal. And we ate that at McDonald's, because I can't cook. I can't like run around all day long and then cook a meal, which is a little bit of a bone of contention for my Sikh friend, because he was brought up in a subculture of the UK. So he was brought up in an Indian household, and he sort of thinks that the women should be doing all the housework, doing all the cooking and stuff like that. I'm not going to do that. I mean, has some really antiquated ideas, and that might be one of the reasons why his partner, the woman that he lives with, is so mad at him, because he thinks that the woman should do all the cooking, all the cleaning, all the gardening, all the ironing, and maybe that's why she's mad at him now. Maybe she doesn't want to do that, because he told me that he would go to London and eat at a restaurant with his father, but he never said anything to me about eating at a restaurant with this woman he lives with, and she might be mad. She might be, she might be mad at him because he never took her out to eat at a restaurant. But I don't really want to talk to him too much about his relationship with this woman that he's living with, because obviously it's not a relationship, not a good relationship, and so I don't want to get too involved in it. But anyway, so when we finished our McDonald's meal, because I can't do all this stuff and then go home and cook a meal, and I don't particularly like sandwiches. I have to have a sandwich every day at work, and I don't particularly like sandwiches. And so then we took my chair back to my apartment, and I put the chair together myself. I looked at the instructions, and the only thing that I didn't know how to do was I didn't know how to put the wheels on the bottom of the chair, but I looked it up on Google, and Google told you how to do it. And then when Google told me how to do it, I was able to put all the wheels on the bottom of the chair, and then I was able to assemble this chair. So I'm more than just a pretty face. So, and then after we did that, I said, oh, well, we've got to go to town now, because we've got to go to Sainsbury's to get something for dinner. So we took the bus into town, and then we took the bus to the local mall. And I said, well, I want to go to the Poundland and look at these sandals, see if they've got any sandals that I like, because all of the sandals that I have are really old. And I thought, well, I'll get a new pair of sandals and I'll throw out one of my old pairs of sandals. But we went to the pound shop. They didn't have any of the style that I like. So I said, well, let's go to the Oracle and let's look at TK Maxx and see what they've got, because I do like getting my shoes at TK Maxx. And then so since we were in the Oracle, I said to my boyfriend, I said, would you like to get a yogurt ice cream? I said, we can share a yogurt ice cream and I'll pay for it. So it was like £7.45. We got a large yogurt ice cream that share between the two of us. And it was £7.45, and you got 3 toppings. And I got a strawberry topping, a Smarties topping, and a Nutella topping. And so we went and sat down, and we shared this yogurt ice cream. And it was really good. We both really enjoyed it. And I said, oh, well, we should do this more often, because we had the whole day to ourselves. I didn't have my Sikh friend is working, so he was not around, and so it was just the two of us, and we were having a date day. And then so after we had our ice cream, which was very good, we went to TK Maxx, and I was looking at the sandals. I found a pair of green sandals that were the style that I like, because see, I'm diabetic, so I have to get shoes that are going to be very comfortable. I have to get shoes that are not going to hurt my feet because I'm diabetic. So I got a pair of shoes that I liked that were green, and I thought, okay, well, I'll throw out some of my other shoes. And then I got home. Well, I already have a green pair of sandals of a similar style to that, not quite, but similar. And then the 2 pair of shoes sandals that I was thinking of throwing out because they're so old. I thought, well, they're not that old, so I thought I'll keep them for a while. But I did throw out a pair of plastic wellies, so I thought I'll throw out a pair of plastic wellies. I don't need them. And then, so after I did that, well, by that time, we went home, took the bus home, went to Sainsbury's, got stuff for dinner tonight, and then we went home. When I got home, I had to wash the dishes because yesterday evening I had to fix dinner and I didn't have time to wash the dishes because we were going to Oasis. I didn't have time to wash the dishes this morning because we were going to Bible study. So I had to wash the dishes when I got home. And then by that time, I tried to ring my sister and she said she couldn't speak to me because her husband is a very wealthy man. Well, he's a lot more wealthy than me anyway. And he's a very wealthy man, and he tells her that she has to be dressed, ready to go, all her chores done, everything done by 11:15 in the morning. So I can only speak to her before 11:15 in the morning because at 11:15 she has to give him her undivided attention. But I did speak to her a little bit because she rang me in the Oracle Mall, but I couldn't speak to her a lot, so I'm probably going to try to speak to her later. And then so I couldn't speak to her, so I thought, oh well, I'll just lay down and watch some videos. And by that time it was around 6:30, and I thought, well, I have to fix dinner. So I had these hamburger patties that we'd gotten from a handout on Thursday. And then I had these old vegetarian sausages that I got from a handout last week. So we had the hamburger patties, vegetarian sausages, salad, and coleslaw. And I told my boyfriend was happy with it. And I told my boyfriend, I said to him, I said, we need to stay away from the carbs. So we're going to try to eat less carbohydrates because carbohydrates aren't doing us any good. My boyfriend needs to lose weight. I need to lose weight. Our Sikh friend needs to lose weight. Those carbohydrates aren't doing us any good. So my boyfriend and I decided that we're going to try to give up carbs or stay away from carbs. So we just had salad and coleslaw with our hamburger patty and vegetarian sausage. And then now I made a whole bunch more dirty dishes, which I don't feel like washing. So I'm probably not going to get around to washing these dirty dishes until tomorrow because I can't sit there cooking and cleaning all day long. I have other things to do because I have to work. I have 2 people I have to take care of. I have to study. I have to make my videos. And so I'm really busy. And I didn't even get a chance to study today because I was tired. After running around all day long, I was tired. I initially thought that I'll study after dinner, but then I thought, no, I'm tired. I'm just going to wash my hair and go to bed. So hopefully tomorrow I can get a little bit of studying in. And another thing I wanted to do, and I want you to know that I'm not getting to write this off of my expenses because I'm not self-employed. So I'm not doing what Tiffany Thinks and Jody Wright does by showing you everything they have so they can write it off as an expense of the business. But I want to show you what I bought, and rest assured I'm not able to write it off as an expense to the business because I'm not self-employed. And I'm not monetized. So these are the sandals that I got. I mean, I know that they don't look like much. I know they're not really sexy, but I'm diabetic and I have to wear shoes that are really comfortable. And I think I paid £16.99 for them at TK Maxx. And then I also asked for a bag, and I thought they were going to give me a plastic bag, but they didn't. They gave me some other kind of bag, but I only had to pay 20p for it, but I didn't like it. So this is what I bought. at TK Maxx. So this should last me a year, and maybe next year, who knows, maybe next year I'll be able to get another pair of sandals and throw out my old sandals once they're all smelly and everything. And another thing I bought was, yesterday I went to the pound shop and I got this top from the pound shop, and I paid £6 for it, but I'm not going to be able to wear it very often because I have to make sure I'm not cooking or anything, because I don't have a washing machine, so I'd be very careful not to get my clothes stained. So I'm not going to be wearing this very often because it has white in it, so I'll have to be very careful. And then today, as we were leaving the pound shop, they had a picture of a top that I really liked, and I thought, I really like that top. And this is the green one that I bought, and it'll go nicely with my green sandals. So I didn't think about that until I'd actually bought the sandals. But it's a t-shirt that I got. It's a size large. And I paid £7 for that. But that's nice. And since it's a dark color, I don't have to worry so much about getting it stained. But I'll still have to be careful about cooking. Make sure that I put my big chef's apron on when I'm cooking. But I just thought I would show my viewers what I bought on my date day. So, you know what I bought. In addition to that, I also bought some nails because my Sikh friend gave me a big mirror, and so I had a small nail, and the mirror fell off the wall. So I had to get some nails at Pound Shop, and my boyfriend was kind enough to look at Pound Shop and see if they had any nails, and yes, they did have nails. So we had to remove the old nail, which I didn't have a suitable way to remove it, but I was able to get it off with a screwdriver. And then he pounded in the new nail, which was a long nail like that, and we were able to put this mirror on the nail, and so far it hasn't fallen off. So that was the entirety of my date day. So if you're interested in my life, interested in my date day, my date day that my boyfriend and I had, where we spent the whole day doing things together, and the highlight of our day was having a yogurt ice cream that I told him, I said, we're going to have to do this again. And so that was the culmination of my day. So I hope you enjoyed listening to me tell you about my day, because most of my videos are quite sad and pathetic, because I have a very sad and pathetic life. But I thought, oh well, I'll tell you about my day, let you know what I did, and give you a little bit of light entertainment. So thank you so much for watching my video. If you like my video, please like and subscribe. And thank you for taking an interest in my life, as pathetic as it may be.